Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Fan Behavior and F1 podcast. I am Zoe, and I am here with Hannah.
So
we are recording this episode a bit in advance because we have another weekend of, being out of town and then life, and we just got to roll with the punches. And because it's a non-race week, I feel like it's
safe.
Okay. It's safe. But it's going to be a good episode. It's going to be fun. I do like these episodes where we answer fun questions, do little games. It's a little unhinged. I think our race recaps can get unhinged, but they're more structured because of the race.
Yeah.
And we're at the mercy of
the race for the
race.
content.
Exactly. Totally
Rather
true.
Than, just.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. I also know it's been a long time since we've done our F1 learning moment, pop culture moment, stuff like that.
Yes.
And obviously, because we're recording this so shortly after the episode we just did, there's not a lot in terms of those things to go off of. But rest assured, we will do those again. They're not dead.
No.
Again, we just have to pivot to our circumstances,
as Ross Geller said.
Exactly. But we will get back to those one day. Rest assured. Okay, so we, as we said, have some fun questions that you guys sent in to answer. We have a little thing that we wanted to do that I think will be, hopefully, we'll find it funny.
Excited.
I don't know if other people will find it funny, but I think they will. But there's also some news, actually, despite the fact that it has been a couple of days, only a couple of days since we last recorded. There is some news to go over. So right out of the gate, the FIA announced that all teams were under the cost cap in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So no cost cap drama this year.
Yeah, no cost cap drama. I'm calling BS.
Okay.
And they just aren't dealing with the drama, and that's fine.
Okay.
I don't know a single world in which that is the truth. Now, I have no valid reason to believe that other than a conspiracy theory I created in my own head.
Right. I think if it wasn't true, if there was rumors and people thought that there were teams that did break it, there would be an investigation into it. And I do think there's probably some truth to the fact that teams saw what happened to Red Bull and they're like, well, we don't want to have that happen to us.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a set amount of teams that can barely spend to the cost cap, so we're not worried about those teams.
I guess I'm more thinking the Mercedes. I know Toto last year said that he would do it.
Yeah.
But then there was also, and I think we talked about this on another episode, that I could see him just almost his way of revenge was once again not breaking the cost cap and just showing we can stay, we are Mercedes and we can stay under budget. Yeah.
So to speak.
So I don't know. I was surprised.
Yeah. Well, congratulations to those teams and good luck for
and I have no reason to think they're not being honest. I just find it suspicious.
Yeah. You just kind of want there to be
maybe
teams
that's
that
it.
go over. Right.
Yeah.
The next piece of news is it came out that Checo did an interview. I can't remember who it was with, but he basically said, and I can read his quote, that basically I want to be world champion, and if it's not going to be at Red Bull, I'm definitely gonna have to start looking elsewhere in 2025. And so this was his quote. He said, and he kind of misspoke, which made everybody then go into this tailspin, which I
misspoke as in
I'll tell you what he said. So he says, with the season we have had, it is important to hold the next races in an environment where I feel I can contribute. And that place for 2024, and then in quotations, the publication said he likely meant to say 2025 given his next statement, but because he said 2024, everyone was like, oh my god, he's gonna but he says and that place for 2024 is not here, so that's why people were freaking out. We will have to look for other alternatives. But then he says, but right now my main focus is to be here, win more races, continue winning championships with Red Bull. I have a contract until next year, and at some point next year we will sit down and talk. So, and of course he's gonna say, because the reality is that he's doing damage control. He knows the writing's on the wall, and he's probably not gonna get a contract renewal. And so he's saying, I'm not feeling valued. So which is true.
Yeah.
He's not
wrong,
right. But he's saying,
also making a statement.
But he's also covering himself so that when he does end up leaving or finding a new team,
it's on him.
He's spinning it to fit.
He broke up with them, not the other way around.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's them, not him.
Right.
I also just think it's an interesting statement to make because anything can happen.
Right.
If you are going to win a championship, the way that things are looking, Red Bull is the only team that you can win a championship with. Now, obviously, that could change. Not knowing what any car is going to look like next year or the year after.
Right.
However, I will be absolutely shocked to my core if Red Bull's car is worse next year.
Right.
And the year after. I mean, like, never say never, obviously, but it's hard to imagine them going through like a Mercedes funk.
Right.
It's obviously can happen. It's happened before.
And they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know. It's just interesting. But
yeah.
If you're not going to win a championship at Red Bull, respectfully, you're not going to win one somewhere else, at least for the next 2 years.
Right. Where do you think he would go if he did leave? Like, where do you think he would potentially end up?
Well, I kind of thought maybe Aston Martin, but I don't know what his relationship with Lawrence is like.
There.
I know, but that's why I wasn't sure if they had a good working relationship because I only knew that through the show, so I don't really
lost his seat. That was how he got into Red Bull because back when they were Racing Point, they had signed Sebastian Vettel, and they were like, Checo, you're out, because obviously Lance, and Checo was beating Lance in the championship.
Weird.
Yeah, I know. And so then Checo ended up obviously getting that Red Bull seat, which worked out very well in his favor. So yeah, I mean, I guess if Fernando retired, that could be a place for him.
Yeah, certainly. And just depending on like which we talked about on the last episode, but like what Lance's future is, based on like what he wants and all of that.
I mean, it's not going to be McLaren. No, it's not going to be Alpine, unless something
go to Ferrari, and I don't know what would happen. Yeah,
Alpine is maybe potential only if like something crazy happens with Pierre or Esteban and they don't want either of them anymore. Like that could be a spot for him, but I don't see that happening.
I don't really see Mercedes.
Definitely not. Especially because they're both locked in through 25.
So I mean, from where I'm sitting, unless there's some big
Alpha, I guess would be Audi at that point, or close to being Audi at that point. Yeah,
it's just hard to say because it obviously can change so quickly. But yeah, I mean, like based on what the grid looks like right now and what the cars and what the availability is, like if he doesn't stay with Red Bull, he's not driving,
or he's gonna have to go to a back marker,
which is not what he wants.
Yeah, because he wants to win a championship.
Yeah, I mean, like talk about grass being greener on the other side. You want to be the first driver at Williams, or you want to be the second Red Bull driver?
Do the Valtteri thing, which is like I was the second driver for so long, and I want to be on a team where I feel like I'm valued and where I'm the first guy and where I have like consistency. I get that.
Yeah, but this is something that's interesting to me because I completely understand the like wanting to be valued and whatever, but I'm not disparaging that in any sense of the word. But do you want to be valued or do you want to win? Because in this sport, if you want to win, you have you take best team, whatever driver slot they've got. Yeah. And if you want to be doing the sport you love and respect it and have the car accommodate your needs, you don't get to be picky.
Right. So, it's like catch-22, or it's like pick your poison.
Yeah. And it's like, yes, the hope would be if he goes to an Alfa Romeo and he's driver number one, their car's figured it out and they're really competitive. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The likelihood of all that lining up,
not likely.
Right.
Yeah. It's tough. And I get too. I can understand the emotional toll that it would take to be obviously Max's teammate, but also like the car is just so perfectly it's catered to Max.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Max wants. And I can get that being, a difficult situation
for sure.
But I guess we'll have to see what happens down the road. Speaking of all this Red Bull drama, Helmut Marko kind of ran his mouth again.
He loves to do that.
And he basically said that Checo is not consistent, which was like, okay, yeah. I mean, like, I think we all kind of know
compared to Max,
I guess. Yeah. And then he said, and Lando is a candidate for the potential seat in 2020 after 2024. So this was his quote. He said, in terms of youth and speed, he, being Lando, would suit us very well. Sergio, on the other hand, is already over 30 and is expecting his 4th child. So he also has other interests. So you have to see what happens next.
If there's ever a girl in the Red Bull seat, I hope he is long gone by then.
It's like, okay, so because he has kids, it's like he can't be a good,
he's just talking out of his ass. Like you're coming up with excuses for him. It's like when someone breaks up with you and they tell you you're gonna be better because I'm doing this for you, and here's all the reasons. So it's like, no, don't.
Right.
I just don't understand. That's ridiculous. I also am just curious, like, I like the idea of Lando and Max being teammates, but I worry it's going to be a Nico Lewis situation.
I think it's going to be bad. Well, and Helmut does say later in the article thing that, Lando's contract is through 25. So the timing doesn't quite work out. And also, I cannot imagine Zach giving up on Lando, paying him out. It does help. I thought about this. It does help they have Oscar.
Yes.
I do think Oscar lessens if Lando were to leave, I don't think they'd be quite so devastated because Oscar has so much potential.
Yeah.
But I really can't imagine them. I think it's going to be, I'll be curious to see what happens when his contract does expire. I do have a theory though.
Okay.
Which is I could very easily see, let's say Daniel keeps the AlphaTauri seat for next year and does well enough, and Red Bull decide to put him into their seat for 2025. I could see him keeping that, having a 1-year contract. And they basically can be like, okay, you're going to be here and we'll evaluate you. If you do super well, we'll keep you around. But if Lando wants to go, we're going to put Lando, kind of keeping him as almost like a placeholder until they can figure out what else they want to do.
Yeah.
Because I think any other driver, I think Daniel would take the 1-year contract.
I think he would too.
I think other drivers would be like, no. That's not stable enough. I want more security. So I could see that happening.
Yeah.
That wouldn't shock me.
I'm also just curious, in the dynamic, with Checo that we just talked about, I don't know. Again, I think it's grass is always greener. I don't know if Lando would like being seat number 2. I think he'd have a really hard time with it.
He would not think. I think he thinks to himself, I wouldn't be seat number 2.
I just don't know how I guess I've never seen him in the Red Bull, so it's hard to know. But first of all, I think if anything, we've seen that there's a drastic difference between driving a Red Bull and driving a McLaren.
100%.
So Lando's been driving McLarens his whole career.
Yep.
So now he's having to go to a completely different car. I don't know the mechanics of how all that works for the driver, but I think he would have a serious learning curve. And I think he has enough of entitled whininess about him that I think he would really struggle with being number 2. And Max could give a shit. He's like, well, this is just what I do. I'll see you when the race is over.
Yeah, it would be I think it would be a bad environment.
Yeah, I think it would be really hot. I think it would be really bad.
That Max needs a Daniel, frankly, someone who's, Daniel wasn't so much the way he is now when he was with Red Bull. I think he still had that kind of he was more, I can be world champion and I don't like that you're favoring Max over me. But I think you need someone who has accepted the role that they're in. You either need the Lewis George situation where it's old veteran, young guy, both really good, but different points of their career.
Right.
Or you need the number 1 and the number 2. Mm-hmm. And Lando and Max are peers.
Yeah.
That I think from what we can tell are probably right around the same skill level. Obviously we don't know that for sure because we haven't seen them in the same car. So it could get really it could be definitely Lewis Nico.
I'm also just curious, and maybe I don't know, I'm not good at remembering all the contracts and stuff like that, but how long do we actually think Max is gonna stay?
Well, his contract runs to
28.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think at 28 he's, I guess it depends on what his career does, but I think he's enjoying himself, but I think he's bored.
Yeah, but I also can't imagine what else is he going to do. He loves racing so much. It's his whole life. It's all he does.
No, I know. I don't think he'll stop racing. I just think he would go do a different series or the sim racing world is a really big thing. I don't know. I could just see him doing something else. I thought it was 28, but I couldn't remember. But
yeah. So, I guess he'd be 30 at that point. Mm-hmm. Which is still pretty young. But
for sure.
Helmut Marko.
Yeah, I mean,
go over the hill.
Yeah, clearly, and he knows something about that. Speaking of Max, and this might be in your notes, so if it is, I can hold off. But Toto's comment.
Yes.
Okay, I love Max. I'm a fan, and I try and be as objective as possible and see things from all angles. However, Toto's quote, which if for anyone who didn't see it, he basically said about Max's like, is it 9th or 10th consecutive race win, and how that was like a record. He's like, that's just for Wikipedia. No one reads that anyway. No one cares, was the synopsis. And I just think that if Lewis had won that, he would not say the same thing.
Yes.
And I guess what I was curious about is like, do you think he really doesn't care, or do you think he's being spiteful?
I think it is true, and people have said this, like I think Daniel has said this before, and other people have said this about Red Bull, that they love like breaking records. Like they're all about, they want to have the youngest race winner ever. They wanted to have the youngest world champion ever. They wanted to have, they're like the Guinness book about
sports
that.
team.
And so so I think Red Bull definitely cares about it more than Mercedes would. Now, would Mercedes celebrate it? I think yes, but maybe less about the record and just more about the fact that they're winning, like that they have the best car. I don't know, they care about the actual like number. Do you know what I'm saying?
I guess I feel like from an outside perspective, like I know obviously Red Bull loves records and stuff like that, but I think the same hype would have been given to anyone who was in that position. And I just thought it was, and of course, the media knew what they were doing. They obviously picked like that quote that Toto said, like obviously it sounds like vindictive and spiteful or whatever, but I just thought it was interesting because like if Lewis wins, and I know an 8th world champion is different than 10 consecutive race wins. Obviously they're categorically different. And so maybe that's why the celebration would be so significantly different. Right. But that is also something for Wikipedia and is incredibly impressive and important. And Mercedes would be losing their mind.
Yes. I just
thought it was interesting.
Yes. The reality is whenever Toto or Christian can take a shot at the other one, they will go for it.
Yeah.
Full steam ahead.
Full Celine Dion.
Exactly. The other just quick piece of news is that sources have said that Daniel will most likely be out until Qatar. So he'll be off 2 more races, and a big part of that is, I guess, also because of the physical nature of both Singapore and Suzuka, and that they, I guess, also said like they don't want to rush. Their whole like wording is like, we don't want to rush things, go too fast. And some people have inferred that means like if Daniel felt like his seat was at risk, he would try to go quickly into the car, which I'm like, yeah, but also no, because it's like if it is at risk, you don't want to get in there and then like
make it worse.
Or like really mess up or something.
Plus, they're having the luxury of just
they have a good
testing
driver
out Liam too, and just seeing how he does.
And they're probably not like, oh, we need to have somebody else in really quickly, or have Daniel back really quickly, because they're doing just fine with the guys that they have. I mean, if their engine works.
I am excited to see. Like, I'm glad Daniel's getting rest, and I'm glad they pushed it to Qatar, because I think
he'll be back for that race.
But I also think he just like needs the time. It's a a big injury, and like for this sport, obviously it's a very important, like wrist strength is important, and like getting healthy.
Well, and it was the bone on the outside of his hand.
Oh my god. That's right.
So
it's metacarpal, is that what
metacarpal? Yeah. So if you're squeezing a steering wheel, like that's gonna hurt. So gotta be fit, and
I'm excited to get some more opportunity to see. I mean, it's like I'm trepidatious, I guess. Is that the word? I have whatever. But the Yuki Liam dynamic.
And Singapore will be a real test for him, because it is so difficult. It's so technical. Street track, I mean, that's tough. So it'll be interesting to see how he does. I feel like he has like these little tests every week. It's like, okay, now can you do this? So it'll be interesting to see how he does. Okay. Let's get to our little fun segment before we get to the listener questions. Okay. So I can't remember if I saw it or if you saw it. I think I sent it to you.
Oh yeah, I think you did send it to me.
Yeah. So we've mentioned this podcast on here before, but it's Brooke and Connor make a podcast. That's what it's called. They did this segment, which I saw on TikTok. Who was on it with them?
I've seen her before. She's another kind of viral creator from like COVID times. I think her name's Alicia, but I don't remember.
Okay. So they did this segment where I guess they were going through celebrities.
Yes.
And they basically said that every man is either a puka shell necklace man or a cross necklace man.
But there's 2 other categories. Right. Okay. Just making sure.
But then there's also puka shell necklace men who want to be cross necklace men and cross necklace men who want to be puka shell necklace men.
It's just so
and it is so funny because if you think about any man, it is true.
Yeah.
They are either a puka shell. I mean, obviously with the whole other caveats too, but like people are either puka or they're cross necklace.
Yeah.
And so we decided we're gonna go through the grid, and I have them here ordered in standings, F1 standings order. And we're gonna rate them as either all 4 categories, right?
Yeah.
Some people are just definitively.
I think so. Yeah. There's a few that I could think right off the top of my head.
Okay. Max Verstappen. What does your gut tell you with
puka shell?
Max?
But I would almost say, well, okay, so Max is actually hard. He's a conundrum, but I would say maybe puka shell who wants to be. But Max doesn't give a shit about anything but cars. Yeah, no, Max doesn't listen to music.
I guess he wears bracelets.
Yeah, so maybe like to me, he seems either puka or puka who wants to be cross necklace. But I don't think he wants to be cross necklace. He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's definitely puka shell.
Yeah,
like for sure.
Puka bracelet.
Exactly. Okay.
Oh, maybe if we ever get the opportunity, instead of making a friendship bracelet, I'll make him a puka shell bracelet and just see how long he keeps it on.
Okay. Checo. I mean, we know Checo is Catholic.
Yeah, but that's not the definitive.
I think Checo is a cross necklace man because I really cannot see him in a puka shell necklace.
No, same. But I don't think he's, and we'll get to this, but I don't think he's a cross necklace for the same reason other people are cross necklaces. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. Like in the same way that Connell from Normal People is a cross necklace man. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right. He's a cross necklace man for like the right reasons.
Yeah.
He prays. Right.
So it's like its own unspoken subcategory. And because he's not puka shell enough.
No.
But he doesn't want to be puka shell.
Totally.
But he's not cross necklace for like his suave energy.
Yeah. Not for the swag.
No. It's for cultural purposes.
Totally. Okay. Fernando.
See, Fernando gives me very strong puka shell energy.
Yeah.
100%. I picture him
on the beach.
Yeah. Or just on the track. Like when
I know, but I'm saying I could see him.
Just his hair and his vibe. I mean, if he was not a racer, he is a surfer.
Yeah.
100%. Period. 100%. Or like a fisherman.
Oh my God. Yes.
He has a little like tiki hut on the beach selling puka shells.
100%. Lewis Hamilton.
Cross necklace. Period. The end. He's never even looked at a puka shell necklace unless Gucci sold it.
I could see him in a puka shell. He's someone that I could see both because he loves to surf. But
it's not about wearing the necklace. His energy is cross necklace. He can pull up. Most cross necklaces can pull up, but Checo cannot, and that's why he is the subcategory of cross necklace that is not cool, suave, whatever. He's just Checo.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. You mean. Carlos
gives me puka shell wants to be cross necklace.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Like, because he's not a full on cross.
He's not a full on cross.
No.
And he's really not a full on puka shell.
No.
But that's why he's. This is so fun.
Okay.
I hope everyone else is having fun.
Charles Leclerc.
Cross necklace. Maybe wants to be puka shell on a certain day.
I think he's puka.
Do you really?
I think he's puka shell. Yeah, I do. I mean, in reality, he is gummy bear, teddy bear necklace. You know, those weird things.
So true. He's friendship necklace.
Yeah. Yes. I think Charles is not that cool.
That's
like,
so
what
true.
We know about Charles is he's a little bit goofy.
Yeah, it's so interesting because he's like such a dork.
Yeah.
Which is hot. It's like fine.
It's funny.
I mean, look at him. But
I don't really think I think he's a puka.
Do you think he's puka wannabe cross?
I think he's puka wannabe cross.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
George Russell.
Puka shell.
Puka who wants to be cross.
For sure, but different for the reason that Charles wants to be cross.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Actually, I could never picture George in a cross necklace. I'm sure he's worn one before. Like, I feel like
but his is different. His is just like the very simple chain, and the cross is like this big, and he keeps it under his shirt. Like, it's not a statement piece. You know, the same way Checo's isn't a statement piece.
It doesn't hang.
Correct. His chain does not hang low. But like if Lewis was wearing a cross necklace, like it's the part, it's the story.
Yes.
Like it is the plot of the outfit.
Yes.
George's Grammy gave it to him,
Yes.
Okay.
Lando. Puka shell. He's actually shark tooth.
For sure. Black necklace, mini shark tooth.
And that was something I
think categories are so good.
I saw TG1F say that Lando is a shark.
He is a shark tooth.
Or shark tooth boy.
Wow.
100%.
For sure. And that's his version of cross necklace.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Wow, that's excellent.
Lance.
Puka wannabe cross? But just to fit in with his dad.
Yeah, Puka wannabe cross, even though I know that Lance is Jewish. So
Star of David.
That's another. I mean, yeah. Put in your religion of choice. Like, I want to be choice, but like, inclusive.
Yeah. I want to be aware here.
Yes.
So Puka shell wannabe Star of David.
Yes.
Necklace.
This is so easy. Pierre Gasly.
Puka shell.
No.
Really?
He is cross necklace all the way. Are you kidding me?
I don't know. I mean, I see it. I guess, okay, to the point we said about Lewis, I can see Pierre in a puka shell, but he could do both. And he's not doing puka shell because he's like any of the others. Yes, okay. I'll give it to you.
Okay. Whew. Esteban.
But I'm just picturing him in all of his like shirtless, like
with his cross necklace that he literally that he wears all the time.
You're so right. That's my fault.
Yeah. It's okay.
But he would rock a puka shell necklace.
He would.
And a shark tooth for that matter.
He would. All three at the same time.
For sure.
Layer it up.
Puka shell with a puka shell chain,
cross.
Shark tooth cross.
Yeah, for sure. Side by side.
Pendants. Yeah.
Esteban.
Puka shell.
He's puka shell wannabe cross.
Yeah.
For sure.
And if he's cross, it's like Checo.
Oscar. Oscar's sneaky cross.
Oscar is a sneaky cross. He is. I really love him so much. Cannot wait to see him on this season of Drive to Survive. Like, he's so funny. His mother is hilarious. On like the sense of humor that family has is chef's kiss. And yeah, he is a sneaky cross. Yeah, but I think he could do it both. But both he could do organically. He's not a wannabe.
I mean, he is Australian, so that the like puka shell surfer vibe fits his thing.
Yeah,
but I think he's a cross.
Yeah.
Alex.
He's
a puka shell.
And loves being one.
Loves it. Yeah.
Loves
very happy being his.
And we love him for it.
Nico.
He's
puka.
He's giving me puka wannabe cross.
Yeah. We haven't said anyone who's cross that wants to be puka.
No.
Yeah. It's kind of.
It's more of a cross could be puka.
Exactly. Valtteri.
Puka. Period.
100%.
Yeah. Nothing else. Doesn't want to be anything else.
Joe.
Cross necklace.
No question.
Yeah. Who would also rock a puka shell, but
totally.
He's a cross necklace.
For sure. Like as like a fashion statement with the right outfit for sure.
I mean, Lewis and Joe, like their like fashion is like different font,
Yes,
it's like
yes.
Same vibe, different font.
Yuki's
giving me cross necklace.
He's giving me cross too. He's not wearing puka.
No,
I don't think. He could be shark tooth.
Yeah,
but I think he's a cross.
I think he's a cross too.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
wouldn't have expected that at the beginning of this.
K-Mag.
He and Hulk like have such a similar vibe to me.
You think so? Yeah.
Just in the like vibes, like I guess to me he's more, and he's not a cross wannabe puka. I would say puka wannabe cross, but I need like a different hybrid than the shark tooth. Because I could see both, but I'm almost going maybe more cross for him.
Yeah, I'm going more cross, but I think he.
It's a toughie.
It's a tough one. Logan Sargent.
Puka shell.
Puka wanna be cross.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Mhm.
Liam Lawson. We're gonna throw him in there.
I think Liam might be a sneaky cross too.
I think he's a cross. Yeah. And then Daniel.
Puka shell.
He's Puka.
For sure.
He's Puka. And I think
and
he's okay
loves being Puka.
Yeah. He's
because you know who else is Puka? His best friend Scotty James.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because the Pukas who don't want to be anything else have their own energy that's just as significant as the cross who doesn't want to be anything else. It's just a different vibe.
Exactly. You're so right.
Thank you.
What would we be?
I was thinking about that. I think you're a cross and I'm Puka. Happy to debate. I don't know if that's true or not.
I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
I think probably right.
I probably am often like Puka. Well, I think I'm actually often Puka if I'm being Puka, but sometimes Puka wish I was a cross.
Right. I'm just getting a little chilled.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. I don't really want to be Puka.
No, I know that. That's why I didn't say that for you.
But that's funny.
Yeah.
That's very funny. Okay.
Sister signs.
That was fun. Let us know what you think of our...
Love the addition of the shark tooth.
Yeah.
Shout out to TG1F. That's so great.
Yeah, that was a fun. I mean, I'm sure there's... You could do this with lots of... Because there's obviously like, you know, I don't know, pearl necklaces or...
Yeah. In college, we used to... And I think I've told you this before, but we also decided that most guys can be football or frisbee.
Yes.
With the same like frisbees who wishes they were footballs, etc.
Yes.
And that one works quite well. And I would say for this, footballs are the cross necklace and the puka shell is the frisbee.
100%.
100%. It's really foolproof.
Totally. Okay. We'll just quickly run through some of these questions that you guys left us, and then we will call it a day.
We will enchante.
Okay, this is a really good one.
Okay.
If you were in an F1 romance book, what would the trope be, and which driver would be involved? Or drivers, I guess, if it's a trope that involves
enemies to lovers, Max Verstappen.
Okay, great.
I don't know why, but I love it, enemies to lovers, because
you do.
Well, yeah, the banner is just good. Like that's just who I'm a hothead.
I like it too, but it's always for me in writing, especially, it's done very poorly.
That's fair.
So like when it's good, but sometimes I feel like it's not always. It's like too...
Yeah. Not everyone does it well.
Not everyone does it well.
Yeah.
I would do...
Certainly not in the books I read.
Right. I would do love triangle.
Oh, good one. Obviously.
And who would be good in a love triangle? Because in some ways it's like, okay, yeah, I'd want Daniel, but like I don't think he'd really be good in a love triangle.
No.
He's like not really someone...
He just would want to be.
He's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I just can't really see him being involved in that. Pierre obviously has to be involved.
Yeah, of course. It seems like you need a cross, which you have, and then a puka wannabe cross for the correct love triangle.
I mean, so then I guess that would be Charlotte Claire.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay.
And then who you getting at the end?
Guess we'll find out. No, it would be Pierre.
Someone write the book.
It'd be Pierre.
Yeah.
Okay.
Charles.
Okay. This is a little bit of, rumor. Well, it's not really rumor. It did happen, but I don't know if we want to go there, but we can just at least maybe briefly go there. But someone said, what do you think went down with Michael and Daniel? The unfollowed death means a falling out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's hard when you have...
For context, just in case anyone doesn't know. Daniel unfollowed his former trainer, Michael Italiano, on Instagram, and there's been rumors swirling for a while that there's something going on between them, and the unfollow pretty much means that there is something.
My theory, and I have nothing to back this up, but I think it has to be work / I think it's work related in the sense that I wonder if like Michael had the opportunity to still stay on with Daniel after he was kind of like when he was off and just the reserve driver or marketing director or whatever he was doing. And he decided to stay because Michael kind of got his own fame, if you will, in the community through Drive to Survive and through his friendship with Daniel. And so I think that regardless of what the actual like catalyst of events was, I think it has to do with that. Like maybe Michael chose Formula One over his friend, or it might have been something even more personal than that. I don't really know, but I think it had something to do with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that say that it had to do with, Daniel. People were commenting, Christian Horner made comments about how Daniel had lost a bunch of weight. And people were saying that they think it had to do with that Michael was putting, and this is all, we don't have any
speculation.
Yeah, speculation. There's no, we don't have any inside scoop or anything like that. That, Michael was putting Daniel on all these like diets and things like that to like, lose weight and to like stay fit, and that it like affected that he obviously like wasn't healthy, and that caused like problems between them.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
I guess, and I could, that's obviously could totally be true. I guess what's interesting to me is if that's true, why are they allowing a driver in their family to be trained by him?
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting. Well,
we'll see.
I'm sad though. I mean, it's hard.
Sad.
Like, yeah,
sad.
Especially because it like stuff like that is horrible. Like it's its own like grief when you lose a friend or like can't be friends with someone anymore. And then obviously when someone's like, people know that they've unfollowed or unfollowed him, and like that becomes news. Yeah. Like that's just hard, and you can't make a statement about something like that. And like he'll never be able to say his piece about it.
It is really sad. Like, they've been friends for so long, and like
because they're like friends from childhood, right?
Yeah, and we said this, or I don't know if we said it on here, but like when it's a romantic relationship, it's people like understand the difficulty, or like you can wrap your head around like the difficulty of a couple breaking up, but when it's friends, it's like it's not treated the same way, and but it's almost worse.
It's worse, yeah. It's in a lot of ways, it's way worse, especially when you've been
so close.
Well, and like to think about like how much of a risk it is for Daniel to take a step away from a relationship like that, because I can't imagine how much information Michael has, and it's like hopefully he would never want to be vindictive or anything, and I know there's like legal stuff in place, but yeah, it's just hard. And I think becoming when you think you have this person from home who can be your ally and like keep you grounded in this whole new world of fame and whatever, not that it's new for him, but you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just sad that
very sad
ends.
Anyway, let's move on to more, lighter stuff. Would you rather be a tennis, F1, or I guess they meant soccer, football wag?
It's a really good question.
Because it's definitely going to happen. So you have to make your choice correctly.
Right.
I know for you it would be between F1 or football.
Well, it's interesting.
It is interesting.
I think I would be like, I'm not taking, like, it's not that I don't want to be the wag of a Formula One driver if that opportunity presented itself. I just think from like my anxiety level with people, the amount, and we talked about this, I think on the last podcast, like I get so overwhelmed when I'm watching them and I just like know them through the internet.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how stressful it is to watch when you love them.
Yep.
So I don't actually know if I could, I mean, I'm not rejecting it, but I think if I had to choose, it probably wouldn't be Formula One. It would more likely be tennis or football. And I think football.
Yeah. I'm going football as well.
Cool. We should find husbands on the same team. Not that they'll be there forever on the same team, because I guess no one does that, but
they could be on different teams. Who cares?
Well, but then who are we going to be with during the games?
Well, I'm sure we'll have other friends.
No.
We don't always have to be together.
It's more fun.
It is more fun.
But I guess we'll have a raging good time when our boys play each other, huh?
Totally.
And obviously Premier League. Just if Clace, that was up for debate.
Yeah, because they're richer.
And yeah.
Who do you think is the cutest IndyCar driver?
Like cutest or the one I'm most attracted to? Those are different.
The question says, who do you think is the cutest? So I don't know. You
Toto.
Okay.
But like,
is who are you most attracted to?
Maybe Joseph.
Okay. You know who I really like?
Who?
Christian Lundgaard.
Yeah, I like him too.
Yeah.
He's fun.
Yeah.
He's good.
I think he's super cute. If you were a 20-year-old F1 fan, do you think you'd have a different favorite driver?
Yes.
I still think I'd love Daniel. I still think I love the people I love, but I think I love Lando more.
Yeah. I've always kind of thought that.
Yeah.
And I think I would have even more of an Oscar moment than I'm having if I was younger.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
really popping off right now.
He's popping.
And it's it's so funny because I see people be like, yeah, it's his dry sense of humor. I really like.
It's very he's very, very dry, very low key. You know who he kind of reminds me of? He's kind of like my dad.
Oh, he does have a sense of humor like your dad.
But like kind of like you at first you're like, this guy's kind of quiet. This guy's kind of, but then you're like, oh wait, he's actually kind of funny. Yeah. Shout out to my dad.
Shout out to Dad. I almost did it again.
You can call him Mr. Jewel.
Yeah. I still don't think he likes that much.
So old.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the kind of person that you have to really get to know. I feel like to fully.
And I think because I've seen people be like, oh, you only like him now because he's doing well. Not to me, but just like in general in the universe. And I think and I think I've said this before, but like because he's doing well, he's being interviewed more, so we get to see his personality, or like we hear more of his radios. Right. It's like it is a cause and effect. It's like it's not just because he's doing well. It's like I get to know him now. Right. And I said this too when he was first coming in. Like I feel like he's probably great. I just don't know anything about him, and I'm excited to see him on the show because I think it'll really solidify.
Yes.
I hope they talked about his mom's Twitter with him on the show.
That'd be funny.
I hope they interview his mom. Yeah.
This isn't F1 related, but
oh, nice.
This person asks, what celebrity crush do you actually think you'd be compatible with?
It's a good question because I have given it a lot of thought. Not a joke.
I actually really haven't. But go ahead.
Well, unfortunately, Harry Styles and I would not be compatible, and I feel pretty sure of that.
Okay.
And that's fine because that will literally never happen. A girl can dream, but it's just not gonna happen. I think we don't know a lot about him, but I do actually feel like Michael B. Jordan and I could be compatible. And now I'm just trying to think who my other. I actually think Max and I could be compatible.
Okay.
I don't know like if it would be a healthy relationship, but so maybe that means it's not compatible. But like I could see
what
myself.
About you and Travis.
Yeah, I think actually.
You think so?
I've thought about it a lot, and yeah, that one I really thought about quite a bit. For anyone who's not clear, she's talking about Travis Kelce, who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs American football team. No, because when he first said Travis, I was like, what?
That's funny.
Yeah, I think, and if that like gives you any indication on like my type.
But no, I mean, Travis Kelce is so different from Max Verstappen.
No, for sure.
They're so different.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah.
Who's different from Harry Styles? Who's different from? They're all pretty different.
Yeah. I don't know. Travis and Michael seem to have a similar vibe about
them. You think
so? Maybe it's just the swag. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that their like personalities are so similar.
No.
But I mean, obviously don't know them personally, so I couldn't speak. I have no idea. I honestly
also Declan Rice. I actually don't know him at all. Like I don't know him well enough to know that, but
Declan's like very I actually think I would be compatible with Declan Rice.
Yeah, well, Michaela told us that I would be compatible with Mason and you'd be compatible with Declan.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I thought so. Did I make that up?
She told me that I would be compatible with both of them because they're Capricorns.
So then I'm out. I don't know.
That.
Oh, was it that you're compatible with Max and I'm compatible with Lewis? Was that
yes? Yes.
It's interesting.
Yes. Initially, and then she figured out. I think she felt like I wasn't going to be compatible with Max.
Okay, that makes sense.
She said Lando.
Yeah.
I also could see like Matteo Berrettini and I feel like could get along well.
Yeah.
I don't really know a lot about him, but like I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
Matteo Berrettini. Okay.
Good for us.
Good for us. Rumors of Lando going to Red Bull. Yeah, we discussed that. There's also this drama. We'll just end it here. There's like this, I guess, I don't even know. That's a strong word, but like allegedly, Carlos, his mom, liked a tweet after Monza that said that Carlos has honor and Charles Leclerc doesn't. And then Charles Leclerc liked a tweet that was of him like holding up the trophy when he won Monza in front of all the Tifosi, and just like the tweet said honor. And so people are thinking that now there's beef between Charles and Carlos.
Didn't seem like they had any beef.
I know. So that's just what people are talking about. I haven't like dug into it enough to fully
Also, Carlos drove better than Charles.
Carlos drove better than Charles. Yes.
Period.
Yes.
So like if it's just about like Charles should have been on the podium instead of Carlos, there was no.
No, I'm saying Carlos's mom tweeted like that tweet.
I know, but why would there be beef with them from Monza?
I don't know. That's why people are like, what's going on?
I also think sometimes, and look, I love a conspiracy as much as the next gal because I find them fun to unpack. But I think sometimes people just want to be involved on the internet and they just
like things,
like everything without reading them. And they shouldn't, because it obviously gets them into hot water.
Yeah.
And I also think sometimes people are doing things incredibly intentionally. Like in my mind, I could see, what a queen. But in my mind, I could see Carlos's mom liking that on purpose and Charles not knowing what he's liking.
That's a good point.
So, because he's just like, trying to share the love.
Yes.
No offense. If he's liked your tweet, I'm sure he thoroughly read it and saved it and printed it on his wall.
Pierre Gasly responded to my DM. It was okay. See emoji, and then go on to have the next one. It wasn't like he was like
and it was still life altering, which is why they just go boom, boom, boom. But it's like
exactly.
The PR team at Ferrari is gonna have to have a little chat.
Exactly. I think I think it's all fine.
I think it's fine. I mean, they really seem like really
they're all
cool,
they're
collected
all
after the race.
Yeah. It's all good.
I mean, Charles didn't even like look pissed off.
Totally. Okay. Anything else to go over before we wrap it up?
I don't believe there is.
Okay. Well, hopefully this was a fun, slightly weird episode, but hope you guys enjoyed it.
Had a blast. Please let us know if you agree or disagree with our puka shell, cross necklace, shark tooth decisions. I'd definitely be curious.
Yes. We need to know what you guys think. And next week, or I guess when this comes out, Singapore will be coming up. We've got a great guest for you guys.
I'm jealous, but
really fun person. Will be on with me recapping Singapore. That'll be great. And then we'll have another great person for Japan as well. So good people will be with us while Hannah is away.
I miss you all dearly.
Hannah will come back stronger than ever. Like Britney Spears. And
and I am gonna try and I'm hoping while I definitely should be at least more present for Singapore than I will be for what one's after that? Japan. And if and when I am available, I will be in the chat on our Fan Amp community chat thread. So if you want a fun place to chat about the race, come hang out there.
It'll be a good time. Okay, guys, until next week.
Enchante.